I think we should start from Sadi Gimel Amid Aleph just for a minute so we could let's kick off that sugya. Second line from the bottom. Sadi Gimel Amid Aleph. Who ride the Habakoroi Chayusa Aguda Dinahar Papa? There was a shepherd that was watching animals on the banks of the Nahar Papa. One of them fell into the water. Also, come the Rabba. Here to Rabu Patre. Rabba Pater. Amar my Havalel Mebet. Hanata Kanatri entry. You did a proper natira, you did a standard watching, which we've come across this in the past. We call that a shmira pchusa or shmira. The better shmir is a shmir ma'alya. An exceptional shmir is a shmir. Oh, this is a typical. If you do a typical shmira, that's enough that you potter. Amle Abaya, Elameata. Abaya disagrees with Rabbi. He says, Elameata, Ola Mosab in the daily inchi, Achanami the potter. If someone would go into the town, he'd leave his flock. The shepherd would go and leave his flock. At the time that everyone takes a break, he would also be potter if something happens. Amle in. What about Gonna Port? He said, yeah, he would be potter. Rabbi stuck to his guns. Gonna Port to the Gonna inchi. If he took a nap when everyone takes a nap, would he also be potter? So Rabbah holds that as long as you do a shemira, that's kedenatri entry, a shepherd who does a standard shemira, if something happens, it puts it into like an oinus. And even though he's a shay mesachar, and a shepherd is paid for his work, he's going to be potter. He did standard shemira, and something happened. That's these type of things are classified together with oinus. Abaya disagrees. I'm going to see there's another madam who also agree with Abaya. Esvei Elohein Einstein Sheshay Mesacha Potter Alein. These are the Einstein that a Shay Mesacha, like a shepherd, is potter. Going, what would it be like? Kavatipol Shiva Tikachem, the capturers, the criminals came and they grabbed them. And they hacked up the people who were watching. So that's the Brisa seems to say that you need this sounds like a pretty extreme case where they came and they killed people. That's considered an inus, but just a regular kedenatri entry would not be an inus. When it says that's a Shrei Mesachar who was being paid to watch a town. They were watchmen. They were security guards. They weren't, watchmen. It wasn't a shepherd. So that's their whole job is to protect the townsmen. So therefore, that's an onus is only when they really have full-fledged attacks. This is from Yaakov to Lavan. He says, by day I consumed the heat. I had to suffer in the heat, and at night it was cold. So Yaakov said that's the chiyuv of shmira, which is more than shmira, the stam shmira that a person watches. That's also talking about a watchman of the city. Was Yaakov Avinu a watchman for he wasn't a security guard, his job was a shepherd. As the pasuk makes very clear that he was talking to Lavan about watching his flocks. So no, the Amalei Lavan Natulecha Niturusi Yasertik Chazni Mas. Yaakov Avinu, we're using that as an example because Yaakov Avinu took upon himself to watch the way a security guard, a normal watchman would watch. Esfe, Roya Shayu Roya, Viniach Edroy, Ubalier, a Roya that was watching his flock, and he left them, and he went into the city. Ba'zei V'taraf, a wolf came and ripped up the animals. Ubari V'daras, and a lion came and clawed them. Ein Eindim Ilu Hayasham Hayamatzel. We don't make we don't make an estimation that if he would have been there, he would have saved them. We first have to determine, had he been there, would have been anything he could do. Could he have stood up to the wolf? Could he have stood up to the lion? If yes, yes. If not, not. My love. And we're talking about here, the case was, he was Roy Viniach Edroy. He went to the city. we don't say that automatically that if he would have been there, he would have saved them, and therefore he's chayav. But we have to first, even if he would have been there, could he have done anything about it? But my love the olba in the daily inchi. Are we not talking about where he left at a normal time? And we already said if he left at a normal time, no matter what happens, he, according to Rabbi, he's potter because he did an atira, the had not the inchi. He did a typical watching. So the olba in the loy daily inchi. He left when people don't normally leave. So he taka was not, he was taka pesheya in his shmira. Dr. Murray, hachi, am I potter? Why should it be potter? Even though what happened in the end had nothing to do with the fact, even if he would have been there and was saying that we make an estimation of whether he could have stopped them, even if he couldn't have stopped them, he left at a time that it's not typical for shepherds to leave. Then what ended up happening was a lion or a wolf came and ate them, but it's a tchilasa b'pshia b'sayfa b'aynis. It's taka, even if it is an aynis, he should be chayiv. So tomorrow, the shama kol arya v'ol. What is this? So no, it's not talking about he wasn't all in the daily inchi. We're talking about where he left out of fear of his life. He left because he heard the roar of the lion and the howling of the wolf. So tomorrow, hachi, I'm not saying mahavalei mevad. If what are you saying that we checked to see whether he could have stopped them? He obviously had to leave. The reason why he left was because he was scared for his life. So what are we talking about that we have to make an umdin of whether he could have stopped them? No, the taina is, even though he left because of the howling of the wolves and the fear of the lion, but he still has a chiyuv because he could have taken preemptive action. He should have been proactive and gotten sticks and gotten his implements of war, and he should have gotten other royals to help him to chase away the lion and to chase away the wolf. So that's the reason why he's chayiv. If it's because he didn't take the proper protective measures that a shomer is required to do, that would apply even for a shomer chinam. He's essentially a pesheya if he shows up to the job. He was hired as a shepherd, and there are wolves around. And then as soon as a wolf comes, he goes running away and says, "Nothing I can do." Why don't you get yourself a stick to beat him away? So Shemachin would also be chayiv. The mardu amar Shemachinim shahayil lekadem beroim makal is v'loy kadem chayiv. Even the Shemachinam who doesn't prepare is chayiv. So Gemara, no, there's a difference. One of the things we said is he has to go get other shepherds. So the din that we were telling you there, the case over there is talking about a Shem Esacha. We're questioning why did it say B'dafka Shem Esacha? Could even have been a Shem Echinam. The reason why we said a Shem Esacha is we wanted to say a specific din of a Shem Esacha. A Shem Echinam b'chinam. A Shem Echinam is not required to go out and hire other royim to go help him. Shem Esacha b'sacha b'schar. But a Shem Esacha has a chiyuv, this din of that he has to go be proactive and make sure that he's going to be able to protect the flock. That means even if it goes so far as he has to hire people to help him. Bad kama, how much does he have to pay in this case? Ad kedei demeim, up till the value of the animals that he's protecting. That's how much he has to expend to protect them. The Gemara is going to ask in a minute. What does that mean? Why would the owner be willing? How could we require him to pay the value of the animals? It seems like a waste of time and money for everyone involved. So the Gemara, what is it that makes it that he's taka chayiv for this? That means we're saying that he's going to be chayiv, that he has to go ahead and spend the money because of the possibility of a zev and a lion. But what mehechatesi should be chayiv for such a thing? Where does that come from? That a Shem Esacha is potter on einsin. If a zev or an ari comes, that's an einis. Why are we saying he's required to take preventative measures for it?
But we said even a Shem Achinam would be chayiv in this case.
I said we're saying he's chayiv, but we're saying where do we find that he's mechayiv to spend money in advance? We're asking on the spending money part. Where do we say that because of the possibility of an einis, It's a responsibility. They have to take care of it. So it's one thing he didn't pick up a stick, but to say that he's mechuyev to spend his money to make sure that this doesn't happen, where does that come from? So Gemara, no, the hadu shakal may be balabais. He's not really spending his money. This is like picking up a stick. He has to do whatever it is, whatever steps that a shepherd takes, and he's gonna send in an invoice to the balabas. He doesn't have to spend his own money. He's not. Once he's spending his own money, then we're saying he's mechuyev in this einstein. That means it's his achrayis. Why should it be his achrayis? But he does have to take the steps. Rapapa asked Abaye, Hachi, Maya Hanile Mina. The Gemara asked the question that we referenced before. So he's going to the Balabayas, and we say he gets reimbursement for the Balabayas up to the value of the animal that's being protected. So if the animal is worth $100, you could spend $100 to hire the other shepherds to protect it. What is he getting out of it? It seems like a waste of money to spend that much money. Listen, if you said 50%, that would make sense, but this seems unreasonable. The Gemara not kamina l'kaisher the chiyusa. It's kedai. The Gabi, he's used to this animal. He knows it works together with his other animals. It's like we saw before that they used to yoke them together and they're worth more as a pair. Inami l'tircha yiserta, or else that once he loses this animal, he's gonna have to go get others. So it's kedai to him just to keep things as they are. They did not agree with this sheet of Rabbah that a Shemesh Sachar, all he has to provide is a standard natira, a standard shmir. The reason why I'm paying you is to provide extra shmir. Don't just do what everyone else is doing. Everyone else who's watching their own things, they're doing a standard shmir. You're a paid watchman. You have to be a professional and provide a higher standard.
So this case of the lion would be considered, according to Chidr Rav Huna, would be considered a pshia.
Well, the case of the lion, like we really changed that case, that it's pretty much a one-off type of case. I was saying that the problem is he should have prepared in advance. So it wasn't really the question of a standard shmira. It was a question of whether he has to make the effort to go in advance. This guy didn't make the effort, and that's why he's chayiv. But the standard case of, where, let's say, a chicken that every night the cats come in, can he do a standard shmira? Does he have to stay up all night with it? That's the question that Rab is addressing. Bar Adus of Lua have a kama'avar chiyusa agamla denarish techafa. I'm sorry, agamla denarish. He was taking animals over a bridge. One banged into the other, knocked it into the water. Also, Rapapa, he came to Rapapa. Chayve, Rapapa said he's chayiv. He paskined, not like Rabba, that in a stam natira is enough. He said you have to do it in a natira yisera. So he said to him, "What do you want me to do? I was watching it." He says you should have brought them over one at a time, then you wouldn't have gotten knocked in. He said, "Do you have anyone in your family? Do you know bar achsech, meaning your nephew? You have any nephews that when they watch, they go one after the other? That's a very high standard. How could you expect me to do that?" Rabba already tried saying this, that all you have to do is in a shmira, a standard shmira, and we didn't listen. Lamaisa, in the end, the Shemesh Sachar does have to provide a higher level, even if it's not typical. Evu afkid kisna beirunya. Evu gave some flax to Runya to watch. Azul shavu shamtamine. This guy Shavu came and he stole it from him. The Saif Hooker Aganif. In the end, it became known that this Shavu was the one who stole it. Also, the Kameder of Nachman. The Keder of Nachman Chayve, and he was Mechayev Runya to. At this point, we believe he was Mechayev him to go get it from the Ganif, and he has to pay. And Runya was Mechayev to pay to the owner. Lema pliga de Rav Huna bar Ravin. Let's say this is a machalik on Rav Huna bar Ravin. The shalach Rav Huna bar Ravin. Nignava ba'oinus. If something is stolen with an oinus, let's say a list of mizuyin, and then it becomes nicker that it's who the ganef is. Who actually nignava ba'oinus. I'm not sure if the nignava ba'oinus over here really means oinus.
Why not?
Because we're going to say that it's going to be dependent on the din of a. Yeah, I think it's going to say it's going to be dependent on the din of whether it's a shem sach or a shem mechina. Let's see. Nignav ba'inus was stolen ba'inus. Then you become aware who the ganef is. Im shem mechinim who, if it's a shem mechinim is potter on gnei v'avei the ratza nishba ratza oisli maydin. If he wants, he can make a shavua and potter himself, and then say, "I have nothing to do with this," and you, the owner, go after the ganef. Or ratza oisli maydin. If he wants, he can pay the owner and then go get it from the ganef. Im shem mesachu. But he doesn't have the option to make a shvuah. Zok to Gemara. So it seems to be that the Gemara understands that a shemus sacher does not have the ability to make a shvuah and pater himself.
But isn't this what? Didn't Rav Nachman tell him that he has to go get the money from the Ganev? So isn't that what we're saying here?
Yeah, but over there, Runya was a Shem Mechinim. He was a Shem Mechinim before. So we're asking that this is not the truth. It's talking about an oinus, but this is a din is not dependent on the general din of a shemer being a shemer sacha being chayiv on gnei v'aveda. Even by an oinus, a shemer sacha will be mechalik in a Shem Mechinim. The gab this din of who has the job of going after the ganav. But speaking of shemer sacha, and even though in theory he should be able to make a shvuah to pater himself, but the Chacham will mechayiv him to go chase after the ganef and get the thing back, and then get reimbursement from the owner. So l'chayr it's shver. So, but the Shem Mechinam we said does not have that responsibility. So why was Runya required to go chase after the ganef? Amarava Hasam Gavri de Pamuska Habakaimi. The policeman were right there. The Ramakala have also matzon lay. The problem over there is not that it wasn't an oinus. It was true, it was stolen by oinus, but in the end, the shemer was a pesheya, Runya was a pesheya, because this policeman right there, all he had to do was yell out and stop them, and he didn't do so. That's the reason why he was chayiv, because of his pshia. How's the Eilu feeling? You're up for more, or you want to call it for tonight?
I gotta learn with my son now, because he has
it's the best reason.
All right.
Okay, we'll 6:15 tomorrow.
Thank you.
Take care.